Welcome to the 17th episode of The Oracles. My name is Manelisi, and I am with the best co-host one could ask for. One I would not trade for anything in the world. She's the incredible superstar Oracle Zima Zibubo. Today, we have the honor of being joined by a super lyricist. He has released a couple of projects already, namely S.O.O.N, 18 Flow, 19 Flow, and Soon 2. He is, without a doubt, one of the best lyricists we currently have in the country, and he can stand toe-to-toe with the absolute best. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oracles are honored today to bring you this multi-talented superstar. He's a footballer, MC, writer, dancer, and quite frankly, I'm convinced there's very little that he cannot do. Born in Mambisa, he was given the name Thabo Mahloele. Thanks to football and his brother, we know him as Touchline. Touchline, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for the intro.
Oh, Sharon was Touchline. You know you're a dancer.
Bang Jive. Bang Jive.
So what kind of dance do you do? Like popping,
I was a hip
hop.
I was a hip hop dancer. But that was many years ago, man, like over a decade ago, you know. It was a fun time, but it's not something that I like doing anymore.
So wait, are you able to DJ and are able to draw as well?
No. Those two things I cannot do.
Yeah, so it's only two things, two of the elements of hip hop that you're able to do, basically.
Everything else you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I know. It's not to have on feet, you know, DJ right? I think those are nah.
All right. And you know, Touch, I'm pretty sure that there's people out there who are very curious about your name, Touchline. How did you get that? How did you get that name?
I mean, you know, growing up, Bebangbiza Touch, because obviously,
Tabo, yeah.
Starting Bagbiza Tibo, also Bagbiza Touch. So, you know, I just stuck to the name Touch, and when I started rapping, I knew that I couldn't be Touch. I just didn't want to call myself Touch. So
yeah,
I was like, it's gotta have something, you know. And this was in high school. I remember changing my name, and I made this big announcement on Facebook, like anybody cared, you know. I was like, guys, it's an announcement at 8 p.m. You know, I'm no longer Touchline.
Yeah,
you know. But I knew from that point onwards, Uguti, you know, this is what I want to do, you know.
Yeah.
I'll call myself Touchline.
Okay, now before the music, you played football. Now, what made you leave football and move on to music? Why did you decide, okay, I want to do music and I don't want to pursue football as a career?
I mean, football was not really working out for me, to be honest. You know, I was playing it, I was trying it, but it didn't have as many opportunities opening up for me as music did, you know.
Yeah.
Music was a little easier in terms of, like I said, the opportunities that were opening up for me. So I decided, you know, I need to choose one. So the momentum was already with music, so I made that decision.
Because I actually thought you might have gotten the name Touchline from playing football.
Same.
I mean, yes and no, you know, because I gave myself the name Touchline.
Yeah.
You know? So, but it also makes sense because I was so passionate about football, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe also because I used to play on the touchline, you know? So metaphorically or poetically, it sounds interesting, but the story is not that great. I just gave myself the name Touchline, you know?
And you know,
quickly, most of like the rappers that we have, they always get their names from people around them, like their producers, their friends, not necessarily from themselves, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, but I mean, for me, it was, I mean, if you look at my journey, you know, I've always been a person that has kept very much to myself. So even when I was coming up as a rapper, I used to rap by myself. You know, I didn't move in a clique. I didn't even have rapper friends.
Yeah.
You know, I always moved by myself because, you know, there were rap cliques and nobody really looked at me as somebody that could do this thing, you know, mainly because I was not moving as a rapper or in rap circles at the time. So now here's this guy that's, you know, from Elokshini, and then so where do you really fit in? Because you fit in with the soccer guys, you know. So I didn't really have people that I really worked with or people that could even give me a name, you know. I was always by myself, you know. So I'd write and I think that's how I honed my skill, you know. I really always was in my bedroom writing by myself. And I learned how to access my thoughts, you know, freely without anybody having an input, without anybody saying, no, you being too personal, or no, this and that and that. I was able to sit by myself and actually write my lyrics and understand them from my own perspective. And I've carried that all the way through till now, you know, where I'm doing things quite unconventionally, in my own way. And I think that's something that I picked up from just being by myself, by not being accepted, you know, if I have to be honest. And so there was nobody that could ever give me a name or even a pat on the back at the time.
There was zero co-signs, basically. You were just pushing this thing with your boys, like the ones who were with.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, you know, after rapping for so long by myself, I found guys that were like, okay, cool, I'm done. You know, they were outside of my high school though, you know, but I had already learned how to rap by myself, you know. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, it's funny that we're doing this interview a day after the summers. And the first song that I actually heard from you was award shows. How do you feel about some of the results from this year's summers?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really privy to them. You know, I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, I wasn't watching. I did see the winners, some of the winners. Young Stana, I'm very happy for him. Blackie, but that's about the only people that I remember. You know, Musa Keys won, but that's about all I know. Oh, and I know there was a controversial winner also.
With the Artist of the Year, someone you don't know.
But that's beside the point.
I mean, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the guy or Gutuba, so I don't really have an input on that. But shout out to Blackie, shout out to Young Stana, you know, Musa Keys, like I said, those are really, really great artists, you know, and those are guys that just got their breakthrough right now. So as a fan of Umculo, watching other guys come up also, the same way I'm trying to make a name for myself, it's very inspirational to see guys doing that.
But generally speaking, how do you feel about award shows, and just in general? Are they, would you say, Guti, they pretty much cement a person's impact in music, or is it just an award and it doesn't really mean much about what they do?
I mean, more especially
in light of what has been said about the award shows, that people actually buy their awards and it's not really given because they've earned them.
I mean, definitely the awards have lost credibility, you know. I didn't even know the summers were happening until they happened, you know. And that kind of like you know, and I don't even think it's ignorance, you know. I think 5 years ago it would have been ignorance, but now it's like people have moved on, you know. People have moved on. The corruption is it's crazy in this country. So, you know, they just move on, because we also feel like you also feel like you don't have the power to change easy, you know what I'm saying? So you just move on, you know. When there's an award show happening, it's not like when we used to watch our idols. And at that time, you know, where guys had real impact and then they'd win awards. It's not like that time, you know, it's not the same. Konamanje, you know, it's really about, you know, I don't really know what it's about, but it's definitely a connection game. I mean, I saw that Blackie wasn't nominated for Artist of the Year, which didn't make sense for me. You know,
it's crazy.
And then I saw some of the names, that were on Artist of the Year, and I was like, oh, how is he Artist of the Year, but Blackie's not? When Blackie had like a remarkable year, you know what I'm saying? So now you have one Wuti like, it's shaking fit. It's very precarious. Now in my one to like, point it off.
Yeah. Touchline, let's quickly talk about the diss tracks we heard over the past week or two. You were one of the first few people to hear Big Zulu's 150 bars before it dropped, and you loved it. What did you think of the 3 responses we've heard so far, and do you think it will have a lasting effect on the culture?
I definitely like the 3 responses, you know. You know, KO came first. It was a shock, you know, that he would reply, but then he did. And that was pretty dope. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Questa's one, you know. And yeah, man, I don't know if it will have like a lasting effect necessarily, Diabo. Yeah, but I feel like, I just feel like these songs are for hype, you know. But can you sustain the hype? And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So we'll just see where everybody takes it from here. But it definitely sparked a conversation, and I enjoyed watching it from the sidelines and just, you know, seeing, okay, cool. Amachans are still, you know, sparring, rapping, you know, enjoying it, you know. So I don't know about a lasting impact though, but it definitely moved. It moved something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: because I didn't hear Zulu touching on you on the song, right? If you did, were you gonna reply?
Yeah, within 24 hours, maybe.
I actually would have loved to hear that response.
Same thing for me.
Would have loved to hear that response.
I mean, it would have definitely been interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, since then, a few guys have tried their luck also. But, you know, they just weren't worth my time and effort, you know? I think, people took this as an opportunity to air their grievances, however they feel, you know? And be like, okay, cool. These songs are the energy now. And I think a lot of people wasted their energy on that, you know? I think KO, Questa, Duncan, Big Zulu, those were the right people for it, you know? I think everybody else should just like, relax, you know? So even the other boys taking shots now at me, for instance, it's like, you know, I hear it, but it's like, there's really no time for it, you know?
Now I hear you. Now let's talk about your music now. Pro has been one of your biggest influences. Like, if I was a rapper, I'd probably be you right now. I'd be influenced by Pro that much. But anyway, how has this music affected the way you approach yours? Like your music, when you're in studio, when you're writing, how has it influenced you like that?
Definitely, you sort of like, you go at a very high standard, you know? You set very high standards for yourself when you write, you know? You don't just say anything. You don't just say something because it's the first word that you think of, you know? You actually sit down and you think about what you're saying, you know? And also being comfortable, you know? He made it cool for me, who's obviously multilingual, to be able to choose, you know? You know what? I'm gonna say a lot of words, you know? Or in Slogish. You feel? Yeah, so definitely big impact. And of course the punchlines also, you know, having those, you know, I'm a sweetie, you know, I'm a sweetie for the listener to just take home with. Yeah, I mean, the way he thinks is just the thinking that I adopted. And yeah, I mean, there's no Touchline without Pro, you know?
Yeah. All right. Now, earlier this year, you released a mind-blowingly good EP titled Soon 2. It could have easily been an album. What was the inspiration behind it, and why did you make it an EP and not an album?
I mean, I didn't feel like I was ready for an album, you know, to be honest.
Yeah.
I hadn't put out music in such a long time. And I'm just going to be very honest with you. I hadn't tested the waters enough to go for an album, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't feel confident enough in it being an album because I felt like the standards of an album in terms of PR and marketing, you know, they way up there. And I didn't have the finances to put out an album, to be honest. As an independent artist, I didn't have that together, you know? But organically it moved, you know? And it lives in people's hearts as an album. So that's good, you know? But I mean, like I said, I'll be very honest. I looked at it and I thought, I'm not gonna do that to myself, you know? I still need to just come out and give people music. And I didn't want to have any pressure on myself. So yeah, I didn't want to put pressure on the project to do well.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about the quality of the music, man. Like, I don't know, or we listening to the same album, because if there's one thing people also told you, I know this for a fact, is that thing was meant to be an album. Because when you listen to it to this day, you're like, yeah, this guy was onto something here. So when you say the quality of the music, I'm like, well, we're listening to the same album.
And it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what we're gonna get when you eventually get the album.
Yeah, I mean the album's gonna be very interesting, you know. I've got ideas for the album already, and I've recorded some of it already. But the important songs, you know, everything that you've heard me do, and anything that you can listen to and say this is a Touchline thing to do, like you know, there's a few songs that you'll hear and you'll be like, okay, that's a very Touchline thing to do, you know. Those are the songs that are really important to me because they are building that lasting impression that I want to have musically. And I want to expand on that and make it even more mind-blowing. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can't do that at just any studio. You feel me? So there's certain things that I need, you know, there's certain things that I need in order to achieve the level of quality that I want. And that's what I'm looking for my album. That is my intention, you know, to find the right quality for the ideas that I have.
While we're still speaking about S.O.O.N, I like to understand, I like putting people under pressure. What's your favorite song on the EP?
You know, I might be biased because I might like what people like, you know, and that's the problem. I might like what people like the most, you know. I think I'm very neutral when I make all the songs, right? I don't have a favorite because every song, any artist will tell you, when he leaves that studio, that song is their favorite song, you know. Until there's a replacement tomorrow, you know. Even now, Jay, I'm just bumping all the new stuff that I have, and I don't care about Soon 2, you know, because I'm bumping all the new stuff and I'm excited about the new stuff, you know. So that's why I'm not really the best person to ask that question, but I'll probably say, I mean, I can give you a few, maybe my top 3. I'll Always Have Me, probably number 1.
As you should.
I think it's because of the response, you know. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what I did that made people respond that way, but it worked. you know. You probably can expect this one too. Actions over captions.
Yeah.
You know, because of how people loved it, you know, they felt like it was honest and they felt like I exhibited a great amount of skill, you know, which is a standard that I hold myself to, yeah. Well, and then the third one that I would say maybe, I think the third one would probably be Amasi, you know?
Really?
Yeah. Really, really enjoyed Amasi. Sonically, it doesn't sound like anything else that we have, you know, in the world, you know? That fusion, that the chemistry between me and King Sweet Kid, it's just, I think it was incredible, you know? And it was a good breakaway from how lyrical the project is, you know? You got a chance to vibe, you know? Like with Ishugela also, you got a chance to just vibe out. About Peli, vibing out, you know? And you're not forced to, and I think that's the reason why the project is doing so well. It's because it's not monotonous, you know. You can actually listen to it from start to finish and not feel like but depressed the whole album, or it's just party songs the whole album, you know. So I think that balance made it be enjoyable, cool.
That's actually how I felt, especially when I got to 6. I was like, now which one is this one? You know, it took me off. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting it. I feel like that's why it's in my top 3. I enjoy 6 so much because of that. Because I was jamming to actions over captions, and I always have me free mode. I'm jamming. Then I get to 6. I'm like, is this Touchline? Like, that's literally how I felt when I heard 6, and that's why it's in my top 3. I love it for that reason. So you're being honest right now, and the honesty is what we enjoyed about the album. It was very different. It was nice.
Yeah, and I hope Uzi, you know, even the next few projects that I've got coming can be as diverse as that, you know. I mean, the coming one, which we're probably gonna get before I say more, it's, you know, but maybe you got more questions about S.O.O.N. Actually, let me not jump the gun.
I want to hear everything. Because personally, I thought when you mentioned that you're going to give us a top 3, I thought a South African Christmas would be there, because I felt like you were very honest on that one. And it was a wonderful tribute to guys like Bompura and them. I really love that one. It's one of my favorites on the EP.
Yeah, I think it is, you know. I think also story-wise, it was well executed. I enjoyed writing it. I wrote it under pressure, you know. I don't know if you know the story of A South African Christmas, but I wrote it under incredible pressure. I wrote it 2 days before Christmas. So no, not 2 days, the day before Christmas, because it was in the AMs on the 24th of December. And then I released it the next day, you know, with a video. So you see, there was a lot of pressure there. You know, to do something, to do all that in one day, you know, to do the song that literally, you know, didn't exist, no lyrics, you know. All I knew was I wanted to do something for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I remember almost talking myself out of it, because by the time I got to studio, it was like 12 a.m., 1 a.m., and I was tired. And I remember I just wanted to nap. And I thought to myself, every single time I've wanted to do something and I almost pulled out of doing it, those moments changed my life, you know, because the fact that I went and did something when there was something that was pulling me from doing it, those are the moments that propelled me, you know. So I remember sitting on the chair in studio, thinking, you know what, I'm just gonna nap here because I'm exhausted, you know. And something just told me, Uti, the reason why you want to nap is the devil trying to stop you from doing something that can change your life, you know. So I had to get up and just be like, okay, cool, now you have to write a story about Christmas. You know. So now where do you start now?
Yeah.
And
You
the
know,
response was good.
it was incredible. You know, it was incredible. I mean, I did it. I mean, I recorded it. I didn't sleep. You know, and I sent it to my visual guy, and you know, he was going on Christmas holiday, and I had to kind of convince him. You know, I had to do one of those phone calls. Boys, you're not gonna believe what I just did, man.
Yeah.
Listen. I know you're going on holiday, but this is mind blowing. You listen to this, right? So I'm getting it in before I send it, you know.
Yeah.
And then by the time, and you know, he's a big fan of my music, and when he heard it, he was like, "This is worth doing," you know. Come through to the studio, and then I went that night, and literally I had to get somebody who's gonna hold my lyrics on a phone, like a teleprompter, because I didn't know the lyrics. I just written them. If you look at Afro Christmas or the video, you'll see that I never look at the camera. I'm always looking to the side because I'm actually reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, they were too much to take in. Yeah, and I remember Christmas came, which was the next day, obviously. I left the studio on Christmas, maybe like 2 a.m. I went home, took a nap, woke up, tried to put the lyrics on there, right, to make the guy's job easier. So I woke up and I put the lyrics there myself on my phone.
Yeah.
And then he's like, this is a dirty job, my man. He removed the lyrics, he put them on himself, and he sent it to me. And then I was too anxious. I was like, it's like 2 p.m. now. I mean, it's Christmas. I don't think people want to hear this. So I almost didn't release it. You know, I was like, it's too late. You know, but these are the things that we think about as artists. These are the things that we go through, you know, anxiety, doubting yourself, doubting if this is the right move, you know. Just like the song that I dropped on Friday, I thought, like, is this the right move? Should I be saying this right now? You know, things like those. Those are things that we think about, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about the things that you think about, like, what kind of space do you put yourself in when you're making your music? Because as you said earlier, you don't want to give us in day one, right? You're very versatile. So how do you make sure that I'm in the right space for this particular song and I can't go too deep, or I want to go too deep and I can't be having fun like this? So how do you position yourself mentally to do what you do at that particular time?
I mean, the emotion of the moment and the emotion of the production, it all takes you where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it is, you know. When you've decided on the song like African Christmas, you almost know what you need to do, you know. And aside African Christmas, that's my name, you know. When I do stuff like that, I just know that that's easy for me to do. That's why I could do it in the night, you know. Like the calling, I did it also very easy for me to do, you know. But then you get different songs, you know. You get songs like Six, for instance, you know. The vibe it's all about how you're feeling, and you're like, you know, damn, I want to do something for the women, or, you know, and you're gonna be guided. You'll know what to say. You'll know what to do when you behind the mic. You know, it's not a thing where you have to think about it too much, you know. But it's also experience, because there was a time where, you know, certain concepts or certain production to give me a challenge. But I learned how to deal with, you know, every single kind of beat.
Yeah. You know, actually, because now as you're talking, I should remember that you'll be performing at the at Back to the City this year. How do you feel about that? And is it your first time performing there?
It's my second time.
What?
The first time.
And I was like, how is this guy so amazing? That continue, you can answer.
I appreciate that. Yeah, the first time, I think, probably had one of the standout performances of the night. I was relatively unknown, but you know, my hunger and my passion was just like, it was there for everybody to see. I enjoyed it. but this is the first time I'm going as an established artist, you know. So that's going to be very interesting to see how the people are going to respond to me. But I hope, you know, uNkulunkulu angikaya creativity, which by the time Back to the City comes, nami ngibe sengicabange into that's going to be mind-blowing for people, you know, when I'm there. Kungabi performance nje kuphela, you know. And that's why I want to be guided in terms of how I can make it a special day or a special performance for people that are going to be watching.
I like that. Creativity.
Yeah, you have just about more or less a month. So I think God will pull through, man. You'll definitely I believe that you'll give a really great performance there. And also this year will be my first time actually going back to the city. So I'm looking forward to seeing you live, doing what you do best.
Thank you, man. I'm looking forward to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. It's hip hop, it's a hip hop event. It's in a time where people are talking so much about hip hop, you know, which is another problem for me. Everybody wants to talk, you know. Like they bavula my space for Twitter, like that's what they want to do, you know. Like a space like the state of hip hop. And it's like, no, not for the space, yes, studio.
Exactly.
You know, there's too much commentary, you know. And I know I'm digressing, but I guess I just have to say how I feel. There's too much commentary. Everybody knows so much on Twitter. You know, why do we all know so much? You know, when we actually don't know anything at all, you know? You want to speak about like the state of the genre. Don't speak about the state of the genre. It doesn't need to see fagela mehlo. Because even if it's going to fagela mehlo, also who's going to do anything about it? Because at the end of the day, the era that we're living in, you know, like I said in the calling, I said it's an always talking, never doing era. You know, so wonke umuntu vele uzokhuluma ngayo, and mabasuka la, they go back to their normal lives. I'm not gonna do anything about it. So why are we talking about it? You feel me? So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens at Back to the City, how people are going to respond to a hip hop event, you know, which I think ubala, you know, it's people love hip hop, you know, even people that don't love hip hop want to be there so they can see their favorite acts. You know, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm looking forward to it so much.
Honestly, for me, it's whatever you got to say on the mic, get on stage and say it there. Honestly, I feel like that's what draws people even more. Don't go to Twitter, don't rant, leave Twitter alone. Get on the mic.
They say hip hop is back, like it's back, like relax. You know, that's what they say.
Where's the music though? But then, being honest, you will be on Spotify on a Friday, and I'm not seeing anything drop locally. If it's dropped locally, it's on my piano. I'm like, but then, guys, you keep on saying hip hop is still alive, hip hop is not dead.
Yeah,
you're not giving us music.
Yeah, you know, that's what I mean. That I don't really get involved in music politics. I just think it's politics. I do my own thing. You know, I keep to myself as much as possible, because, you know, the thought that I had earlier is that I wanted the industry's approval so much in my life, you know, just for people in the industry to acknowledge Uguti, like I'm somebody that's in here. And the more I didn't get it, more I leaned more on my fan base, you know, and by God's grace, like I was able to build a fan base that makes it so that even if I'm going to keep Bingoma that has no drums, you know, and that is introspective, they're going to eat it up, you know, and that gives me confidence. So there are people that I know, there are thousands of people that are listening. I don't have to, you know, sort of like adhere to the industry and what anybody else is saying, because at the end of the day, nobody really knows anything, you know. At the end of the day, it's record labels that are pushing their artists, you know, in their own way. You know,
buying awards.
I'm independent, you know. Oh yeah, no, that's anything, you know. But I'm not. I'm so complainer, you know. I'm not a person that likes to point fingers and say, yeah, but this, but that, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not trying to and then we can really change something, yabo. Mara leyo ukuthi sonke sokhuluma and so nokuthi vele sizokhuluma ukuthi la award ithengiwe. Kuyafana ayikho into soyenza. Yabo. Siphelela ngokukhuluma like award ithengiwe. Alo ayideserve.
Yeah.
You know, layer yakhe noNkulunkulu wakhe at the end of the day, you know, like you know, which will be the award yakhe when I told her award relax. No more faka amagama ku Twitter. The point is you're not going to the Samro or Summer's offices. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not doing that. So rest. You know what I'm saying? You know, you must know which you complain aranja.
Yeah.
I think just complain about the music and not necessarily complain, but just do your music, man, because you have your fan base, you have people who like you. And I think that's what I love about who's this Black Liz and Peter. Oh, the streets will talk, people will say they're underrated or whatever the hell is, no? But they will just get in studio, make music, give us albums, give us singles. They just let the music speak for itself. And I feel like you also do the same thing. I'm not here to complain, I'm just here to do what I'm good at, and I'm just gonna make music.
Yeah.
Well,
no, definitely. I think, yeah.
Oh no, I just wanted to find out if you're still with us. Because we went quite a
yeah, man. Sorry, I was getting phone calls, so I was just rejecting them right now.
All right, cool. You were saying?
Yeah, I think Z was speaking.
And I was saying, like you also in that lane. You just let the music do the talking for you. And personally, that's what I appreciate about artists who are good and they recognize that they're good, even if the streets are talking. And that noise is silent, man. I'm just here to make my music and I'm just gonna let it speak for myself. And I feel like that's what the kind of complaining we need. Not necessarily complaining, but just let your music speak for itself.
Yeah, that's the best thing that you can do for yourself. Because ukuluma, you know, a tweet will only last for a little longer, you know. Go in there, make music. The music I inspire. People are going to be bumping that 20 years from now. That's the best thing you can do for yourself as an artist. You know, don't talk too much.
Speaking about music that will last, nah? What was going on in your mind when you wrote Tula with Black Liz and them? That song is amazing. And years later, I'm like, what a very personal song, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it was in the light of a lot of things that were happening in the country at the time. And I knew that I wanted to speak about them. You know, I thought that I was the right person to do it because I felt like nobody's going to talk about it. And even if they did, they wouldn't come at it from the angle that I'm able to, you know? And I thought then that means I'm not choice. I have to do it. And then when I did it, you know, I laced the idea, I had the hook and I sent it to Black Liz, you know, he had the verse back immediately almost. And yeah, we were done, you know? But there were a lot of things happening in the country at the time, you know, a lot of like gender-based violence, a lot of youth killing each other, you know?
Yeah.
It was just like, it was a terrible state.
It was.
And I was just inspired to say something about everything that was happening. It's not like anything has changed really.
True.
Because the things, it's either they trend or they don't trend, but they definitely happen.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So no, okay. Now on the 9th of September, we are expecting something from you. Another EP called Before I Say More. You've already released one single from it. It's The Calling. I think you released it on Friday. You released the visuals on Friday.
Yeah.
Please tell us about the EP. What is it all about, and what's the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, the EP. Before I Say More. So, ikhuluma ngokuthi before ngiqhubeka yabona story sami. Bengicela ukutshela ukuthi khona manje ngifila kanjani, or before I drop even more music, can I tell you like what I'm going through as Utabo, you know?
Yeah.
The things that I'm seeing, and the things that I want to address, the things that have me feeling some type of way. Can I just like speak about those, before I give you more music,
Yeah.
So it's an interesting tape, People are gonna find some songs that they like in there. They're gonna, it's not really a story because every moment, the moments don't interlink, Every moment is separate. It's different moments in my life, different situations, um, my hunger, my ambition, my relationships with women, my state of mind,
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
This EPs that you're releasing now. By the time you decide to release the album, the pressure you're gonna have from us, your fans, is gonna be a lot. And I hope you're ready for it.
I'm way ready for it, because at the end of the day, inspiration like body, it doesn't die because there's so much that happens each and every single day. I'm definitely gonna find something to say to you. So, but because the quality of the music is gonna be so much better, I'll be in the right place.
Personally, I'm looking forward to it. This EP, the album, everything.
Yeah, I thank you, man. I really hope. I'm more anxious about the EP right now, because I'm
2 weeks from now. Is it 2 weeks? Yeah, it's just 2 weeks from now, just under 2 weeks. So
yeah, and I feel like and I dropped the calling, and you can see, the people that love it are really excited about it, and it's almost like they hope that the whole EP sounds like that, and it's like, okay, maybe it doesn't, so what then? You know what I'm saying? But I've already committed. I just hope that people are going to find songs in there that can stay with them forever, because that's the music I make, I try with into now, was like you said, you can still bump Twitter today, that's the aspect at which I come at everything from,
Yeah.
But I still play free shows, so I guess let me, me, I still play. I like all music. I don't know. That's one thing about me. I will play 5 grand before I play soon. That's just the person I am. I don't know why, but I'm very attached to all music. That's just me, though.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel welcome. It makes me feel very welcome.
All right. Touch, when you sit and think about your music and everything else you do, where do you see yourself 5 years from today?
I definitely want to go to other countries, I definitely feel like I would have built up a status that is, I don't want to say legendary, but I do feel like I can garner a lot of respect from not necessarily the industry, but from the people, I really do feel like I can be someone that's very important in people's lives, just based on the sort of things that I leave with them, I feel like I can put on more artists at the time. I feel like I can change the way kids see music, the way kids see rap, and in turn, I can change how kids live their lives, and I want to have that kind of impact, because I'm very careful with the things that I say, because I'm aware that the kids are listening, and if we really want the country to really be a better place, then it also starts with us as musicians, You can't, understand that every single thing you say in the music is an instruction. You understand? It's an instruction to a 16-year-old, 14-year-old, because they don't know better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very happy that there are young kids that, that are there listening to what I have to say. And you can see that this music is changing their lives. But in 5 years' time, I just want to be me on steroids, I want to be how I am now on steroids, creating some of the best ideas, best visuals, exporting the music, owning a company that 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 is built around like changing lives. That's what I want to do. If I'm married with kids, I'll be lucky. But yeah.
And the kids beautiful. Love you, man. So you're not gonna get respect. Like the kids really love you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, if you look, you sometimes as a muntu, if you're living in Tabo's body, for instance, you don't see that as much, because you feel like I gotta be as big as in your vest, or so then you start downplaying your impact, until you realize that, until you go to a show and there's kids crying because they know your lyrics, and then you're like, oh snap, how ungrateful am I, Yeah, so it's definitely something that I need to always remember, even when the chips are down, even when the moments are tough. But you've built a fan base that listens to you, that is attached to what you are saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's beautiful. Very beautiful, man.
Yes.
Okay, before we come back to you, Touch, I don't know, Z, do you have anything else that you want to ask?
I just have one thing to ask. You said you want to like be on a different level, right? 5 years from now. Before you get there, even when you get there, and I'm just gonna touch outside the country right now. Go to the continent, go overseas. Who would you still like to work with? Not inside South Africa. Inside Africa, yes, and overseas. So I feel like locally, there's a lot of people you can still hit up right now and work with. So Africa and internationally, who would you still like to work with?
Some of my favorite artists, Burna Boy is one of my favorite artists. I definitely love to work with Burna Boy, just the depth of his music, I mean, this guy makes hits, but he's saying something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's actually saying something, and that's what I put above. Why I put him above the other Nigerian artists. Because he doesn't only sing about love. He's got so much more things that he touches on. I mean, Last is a heartbreak song. There's a song on Love Damani called How Bad Can It Be, where he speaks about mental health. There's a song called Common Person. I don't understand the lyrics, but I can hear what he's saying, and he's just saying, I'm a common person. I'm a normal person, because you can hear he speaks about umuntu that has to saying awashe, apege, was driving past, those are pick up on those songs. And I'm like, I play that song a lot because it reminds me of the kind of music that I love making, It reminds me of the fact that you gotta try to, I mean, he's rich, you know what I'm saying? But he speaks on that song as though he, so Burna Boy definitely probably number one, I'm also a big Drake fan, I don't like saying that in interviews because it's very cliche to be a Drake fan. I really am, I love the fact that I watched his come up all the way to the point where he some sort of a GOAT, He was this light kid who was singing and everybody was like, we don't really like this guy, to the point where his impact has been undeniable. That's remarkable, So it made me a fan of his, It definitely made me a fan of his because I got to watch the journey. The other important people to mention, in terms of collabs that I want to make, because, even though they're South African, they're remarkable in terms of a sound that is incredible and that you don't just Chava, Mafiki Zolo. Those are like really, really incredible artists that I would really, really love with. I mean, they just embody South African music for me,
Yeah.
Definitely. So Something Soweto, one of my favorites also, you know. So yeah, man, the people that I want to collaborate with is more like singers, you know.
Yeah.
So now musician as a producer, incredible. I'd love to work with that guy, you know. Yeah.
I see the vision.
Yeah, and now, because now we're talking about some of the collaborations, I actually remember, because I wanted to ask you why we haven't heard anything from you and Zagwe.
Actually,
Because I think that one would be killer. That one would be incredible collaboration.
You think so?
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
I feel like both of them would want to rap on that song.
Yeah. And that's what we want.
That's the problem. It mustn't rap too much on the song. It must surprise people. But
yeah.
But definitely, I mean, I remember a year ago or 2 years ago, we're supposed to do something. You know, I just have to double check. Yeah, because the song exists. It's just that but I think it's still a song that could come out. It's an interesting song.
Yeah. All right. I'm looking forward to that.
Same.
Yeah. All right, because now we are pretty much almost out of time. Touch, I don't know if you have any last words, anything that you would want to say.
Nothing more than Uti, you know, Before I Say More is dropping on 9th of September. I've got a song coming with Stogie T, which I'm dropping this Friday, but nobody really knows that because I haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Oh, soon too, the Deluxe is also gonna come in October. So yeah, it's an overload of music,
yeah.
And personally, I'm here for it.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
And you know, Touch, you're actually the first person to drop an exclusive with us, to give us something before anybody else has heard of it. So we thank you. We thank you for that. And we're looking forward to what you're gonna give us alongside with Stogie.
Yeah, I'm excited too, man. I'm excited too.
Yeah. Now Friday needs to come as yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm saying Friday needs to come as soon as yesterday. Like now I'm waiting for it. I'm here. I need to hear the song.
It's here. It's here. Maybe I'll send it to you guys.
Right?
Yeah, please do.
Make sure. I took it out to the song. I don't say why not.
Yeah. I'll connect.
Touch, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for your time. This has been incredible for us, and it's always wonderful for us to have someone like you joining us on the podcast. We really believe in you. We really believe in your work, and we wish you all the best, man. We wish you all the best for the coming year, with all the work that you're doing, and we know that God is with you, and God is going to guide you in everything. We're just excited to see what you're going to deliver.
I truly appreciate it, my man. I know you've been trying to get a hold of me, and it's a little difficult. So I'm sorry I hope I didn't frustrate you too much. But it's a lot going on, you know. It's a lot going on. Get the music out, you know.
Yeah.
But thank you for your patience.
Nah, it's all good, man. I understand that you're very busy. Yeah, you're a very busy man, and we also believe in timing, because we're not in a rush with anything. Believe that everything that happens, it happens at the right time. It happens when it's supposed to happen. So we thank you very much for eventually joining us, and we believe that this is the right time for us to talk with you.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. All right. So that is it from us, the Oracles. We'll be back again next week, and I promise you, next week also another huge surprise. And you know that we always deliver a huge surprise for you guys. So until next week, cheers.
Cheers.